There it is. It took a while, but now it says we are live and happy Friday. Oh, folks, it's been a week. It's been a week, but here we are. It's Friday evening. I wanted to jump out on here, jump in live. If you are leaving the office or you are seeing this go and you want to jump in, say hi, check in from wherever you're at, let me know how you're doing. That'd be great. That would be absolutely great. So, um, bring you up to speed quick. If you're new to the channels, um, we moved to Kansas 11 months ago. Lived in a rental I couldn't stand, but I made the best of it. You saw me going live all the time. I was in a plain white room. That room had like a 6.5 or 7 foot ceiling in it. It was, I made the best of it. You know what? I made the best of it, and I'm thankful for the opportunity to grow that property afforded us. So when we moved from California to Kansas, we lowered our overhead by like 65%. You see, we're kind of I think we're the new kind of family here in the United States. You know, we were a little ahead of the game with no car payments. We had a car we were making payments on, and I had money in the bank, and I thought, I'm not even driving this car because it was during COVID. I was like, I'm not even driving this car. Why am I paying for this? I should just sell it. And the used car market was through the roof. So we sold the car. And I'm not going to say we made money on it, but we drove that car for 7 years and 85,000 miles. And it didn't cost very much to own it because we sold it for all the money. So we didn't have any car payments. But we were in California to keep things floating. You end up saying, oh, well, I'll put that on a credit card and I'll get it next month. I'll put this on a credit card. I'll get that next month. Next thing you know, you're carrying around some credit card debt that's a little uncomfortable. And I'm not going to say that happens to everybody, but that's kind of what happened to us. And so as we were rounding out last year at our lease, I said to my wife, I said, I don't think we can sign another lease. I don't think we can stay here another year. I just don't think we can do it. Like, God willing, it always works out, right? But we're not being good stewards of that what we've been gifted. I work online. I can work anywhere. And she was dog sitting. She was watching people's dogs. We could do that anywhere. My son was homeschooled, wasn't even really enjoying, the school experience. And in California, we weren't playing that game there. So all indications said, let's flee. Let's escape California. So hashtag escaping California took flight, and we ended up in Kansas. Folks, like I said, the rental was atrocious, but we lowered our overhead by 65% moving to Kansas. That gave us time to pay off all those credit cards. It gave us time to kind of look at the jobs that were coming into Manana No Mas, and I could say, is this a job that's a good fit for us, or should I pass on this one? When we were in California, there wasn't any passing on jobs. Someone came up with something to do. We found a way to get it done. But once we got to Kansas, we were able to sit back and go, wait a minute, what are our strengths? What business do we want to do? Who do we want to do business with? And we were able to make much more educated and calm decisions about how to grow our business. And so when I say that it's been a blessing on all ends moving to Kansas, these are the types of things I'm talking about. Because the pressure was off on the month to month financially, we were able to make decisions as a family that made a lot more sense for us long term than short term needs. Like if you ever read this, there's a little tiny book called Tyranny of the Urgent. It's like 37 pages, a little tiny book. Tyranny of the Urgent. And what that book basically describes is the dysfunction of life when you allow everything to become urgent. There are important things and there are urgent things. And a lot of times people try to take things that aren't either important or urgent and try to slide them into your urgent category, which can take you out of alignment. And so I read that book a long time ago, and I got to tell you, I should buy 100 copies of that book and like give them away next month. Just like have a giveaway, a Mañana No Mas giveaway. That book was interesting for me. It was a changer for sure. Anyway, I digress. My point here is Kansas has been good. So was it a week ago? Has it been a week or 2 weeks? I think it's only been a week. 23rd. So it's been 2 weeks. We got the keys to the new house 2 weeks ago. So we've been here for 2 weeks. And when I say been here, we haven't been here. The first week, we stayed in the old house, but we moved everything we weren't using to live with over to the new house. So we beds, coffee maker, utensils, pots, pans, that stuff was at the old house. Everything else I moved. So dressers, clothes on hangers, boxes we never unpacked from California, all of that stuff we brought over to the new house. Folks, the difference between the rental and the house that we bought is immense. So now we have this brick home. It's a little older, could use a little remodeling. As you see, I got textured wallpaper here, right? It's probably from 1962. But you know what? For our purposes, it works awesome. And it is a blessing. So we move here. This house has underground sprinkler system that runs on a well. So I don't have to worry about the city water or city watering rules or any of that. This front yard is like a park. It is gorgeous lawn. I've never had a lawn like this. I've never had this stuff. Like I'm 57 years old. This is the first time I've had this stuff. So went out, got me a John Deere tractor, and so I could mow the yard. It's got a bagger on it. I just got my seat cover for it today. Folks, moving was a win. Now we get into the new house. We've been in here for 2 weeks now. As you can see, the office is coming along. We're getting pretty set up in here. If you saw my live last week, there was a bunch of moving boxes behind me. We went from moving boxes to a bookshelf, like a little book nook area. Got some certificates and photos up on the wall. It is coming along. And from a productivity standpoint, I'm exhausted. Mañana No Mas is still putting out the workload as if we weren't moving, but we are moving at the same time. And so it's been a week of nonstop activity. We have epoxied garage floors. We have steam cleaned carpets. We painted the floor in the basement for one of the auxiliary bedrooms. There has been a lot of activity here with the move, but we've also done our client stuff. So WP Tonic and myself, John Denwood of WP Tonic, we did the WP Tonic Roundtable on Thursday. We did the Membership Machine Show today. I did the Lifter LMS office hours and the Ask Me Anything calls on Thursday. We are launching a new cohort with the Power Sport Academy. We did a kind of a meet and greet icebreaker meeting. I think that was Tuesday. And the first cohort for that starts on September 3rd. It's another huge blessing. The Power Sport Academy is a really great program at training dealers how to improve their parts and labor sales, but getting that buy-in from dealerships to invest in training their service personnel can be a task. And luckily for us, we had a 20 club organization reach out to us and say, hey, we need training for all of our dealers. And I was like, I've got a training program. So let's put this together. So we negotiated a deal, worked out. It's one of those awesome deals where I'm not getting full retail, but I'm not doing 100% of the work either. So it's worked out really, really, really well. And I'm being told that I've got 2 courses for the Marine Retailers Association scheduled. We've got one starting in October and one in November. And then Power Sport Academy has the class starting September 3rd, but another cohort that's already booking for January. So, folks, I can't thank you enough. I'm probably going to be blubbering like this for a while. I'm exhausted. I really am. I'm super, super tired. In fact, I got so tired this week that I started to have like my stomach was queasy. Like, you ever get so tired, you're like, oh, do I have the flu? What's the matter with me? But I felt like that for like the last 2 or 3 days. It's a holiday weekend. So truthfully, I'm going to do some catch up work. I know it sounds crazy, but with the move and stuff, I still feel like I fell behind a little bit with a couple of clients. So this weekend, we're going to knock those up and get back ahead of schedule. If you remember, the catchphrase to Mañana No Mas is getting shit done yesterday. So I can't have clients asking me, hey, where's my stuff? Right? We got to be ahead of the game. So this weekend, being a holiday weekend, I'm going to enjoy some time with the family. I am going to enjoy a beverage here or there. And I'm going to use the new seat cover I put on my John Deere this weekend because it holds 6 beers. And get the laundry done this weekend and bring over some more stuff from the old house. The good news is that this weekend has 3 days in it instead of 2. So, folks, yeah, it's been a month. It's been a month. I would like to say it's been a year. I'd like to say it's been 5 years. I mean, January 2020, Suzuki pulls me in a room and says, we're shutting down the training department. You know, go from a corporate stable job to no job, and then go into a market where nobody's hiring for those mid-level management positions. And then go, okay, well, let's launch the agency again and see how this goes. You know, we've been self-employed before, but now you got COVID rolling out. You got all these things happening. Is this going to work? Is this going to work? And you're like, you know what? I have faith. I have faith that God is going to work this out. We will do the work. You know, we can't sit back and say, oh, I'm just going to give it to God and let him work his miracles. You know, if he's given you skills, if he's given you talent, you have to apply yourself. You have to do the hard work. But we did the hard work. We did a lot of work. We sowed a lot of seed. And there were some times over these last 5 years where I was like, there ain't no harvest coming. Like, I've sowed a lot of seed. There ain't no harvest. And then that decision to go from California to Kansas, it re-energized everything. It changed the economic picture. It gave us the ability to say no to things and yes to things that were better. It gave us the opportunity to take our digital tablet here. You know, it gave us the opportunity to take our tablet here and actually plan. What does this fiscal quarter look like? What are the goals for Q2? What are the goals for Q3? You know, when we started selling web packages for $55,000, I was like, we're getting there. We are getting there. You know, on the Mañana No Mas podcast, we interviewed a few really cool people over the last year. Think about Gupta, Anil Gupta. I'm interviewing him, and I'm some guy selling websites that, you know, might be $8,000, $10,000, $12,000. And I talked to him, and he's like, well, when we were working with Pepsi, you know what? And then what? 3-4 months later, Mañana No Mas is pitching websites of $350,000, $400,000, lands one for $55,000. Like, put that in perspective for yourself. Like, think about how that you have to say what was the major change, and it had to be mindset. It had to be mindset, because I'm the same guy and I kind of know the same things. So how did I go from selling an $8,000 website to a $55,000 website? How did I go to being the guy that would do like the sales engineer role on a team pitching a job that's $350,000? You know, and we still might get that job. I don't know. We did the pitch. I don't know what the results are yet. But to say that we were able to say no to certain things and give us the opportunity to say yes to things that were better is an absolute game changer. Now, I'm working on another book. So I'm going to go public with this. And maybe you guys will see this on a replay because I don't see anyone in the live right now. But I'm working on another book. I'm hoping, in my mind, I was like, oh, maybe I can get it done by, New Year's. I'm not going to do that to myself. I'm not going to do that again. When I wrote Action Leadership from the Edge, I kind of got in a hurry at the end. I don't want that to happen this time. I want to take my time. I want to make sure I put out something quality. But I'm working on another book right now that kind of describes not just the mindset, but certain steps I took, things that allowed me to bypass a college degree and still be recognized as a professional. Things that I worked on in my professional development that enabled me to be the expert in the room. And, you know, when you skip college and you miss out on a couple of other things, and you still end up being the expert in the room, that is a really cool deal. And I believe that these are things that we can teach, that we can pass down, that we can give people behind us an opportunity to say, oh, well, that kind of matches my work style, or that comes in alignment with my thinking. Maybe that's the path I should take. And there is a lot of opportunity right now, especially in the trades, where you could bypass college, get paid to get an education, say like in one of the trades, a journeyman in electrical or something like that, do that for 10 or 15 years, but amass a business knowledge in the process that when you come out of that 15 years later, you not only have the boots on the ground knowledge on how that business works, but you'd be able to parlay that into management, ownership, possible training and consulting, and all kinds of things open up. When I think about what we do now under the Mañana No Mas umbrella and how we do it successfully, that's the key thing, right? Do we do it successfully? 15 years ago, people said, oh, that doesn't work. You're not focused enough. You're all over the place. No one will understand what you're doing. That's not going to work. And now look at us. We are a full service web agency. We are a full service fractional CMO company. I do public speaking, leadership training. We do graphics. We do style guides, branding guides. We do website design, e-learning. We do technical writing, copywriting, curriculum development, because e-learning is like making the website the e-learning runs on. But we also have a team that can create the e-learning for people that don't have that internally to create that. We can do that for them. The idea that we can bring all of that to the table, to me, is, I mean, I envisioned it 15 years ago and everybody said I was crazy. And now here we are running Mañana No Mas and doing things like helping an enterprise company that's been paying $400,000 a year for an e-learning platform and saying, hey, your e-learning platform not only looks bad, it barely functions, and it costs you dang near $500,000 a year. For less than $100,000 a year, I can host it, maintain it, and give you a more modern interface with the ability to put blogs or web forms or interactivities all around the learning content. Like, not only can we elevate the experience for the user tenfold, but we can reduce your expenditure by 75%. And my company still makes money at that rate. So the idea that we have been able to do this over the last 10 or 15 years, I hope can become an inspiration to others that are thinking, man, the job market's not stable. Or, I don't really like what I'm doing right now. Or I wish I didn't have to live wherever this is, right? Like, I wish I didn't have to live here for the job. Once you become independent and once you work for yourself and once you understand how this remote kind of tech life works, you can live anywhere. And so we chose Kansas and we reduced our overhead by 65%. We ended up being able to pay off all of our debt and buy this house in 11 months. That's the part that's so crazy to me. We went from riddled with debt in California to dang near debt free and then buying this house in 11 months. And it just sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy, but if it can be an inspiration or an uplifting moment or message for anyone that takes the time to listen this long, I hope that works. Folks, we've got some things coming. We've got the Action Leadership Team is putting out some content on actionleadershipteam.com. Mañana No Mas is continuing to do what Mañana No Mas does. The Power Sport Academy, like I said, is growing with its 20 club iterations. And if you go to kurtvanonen.com, you'll see some information there about the public speaking, consulting, and training that we do. Folks, again, I'm thankful. I'm grateful for the people that like, share, follow, make referrals. This whole, a friend of mine, Timothy, he calls it referral ping pong. I am a huge fan of referral ping pong. So if we're connected on LinkedIn and, who do you know that I should know? Let's play that game. Who do you know that I should know? And you make a warm introduction for me. I look in my list and I go, oh, this is a good contact for him. We start hooking each other up with contacts. It might not be business today. It might be business 3 years from now. Newsflash. The sale we made with the Power Sport Academy is an extension of a phone call that happened 3 years ago. So that sales cycle, for those of you in sales, that sales cycle was over 3 years long. But here we are. It's harvest season. Time for the harvest. We see crazy stuff in our politics right now. We see crazy stuff in our economy. At the end of the day, I'm back to the message that I chanted all through the pandemic, and that is we need to find the opportunities within the obstacles. Find the opportunities within the obstacles. And with that said, folks, I'm going to close out this one. I'm having a nice IPA this evening. I hope that just have a great weekend. Think about what I said on this message here. If you are employed and currently unhappy, just take a moment, reach out to me. How do you brand yourself? Do you have a URL that is your own name? Have you been personally branding? Have you, we can walk down some of these avenues together and I can get you pointed in a good direction. And so that when it is time to leverage your own network, leverage your own circles, be reliant upon yourself, your skills, and your communication. If that becomes a thing, if we do the work ahead of time, it won't be so painful. Cheers.